love my father, I love my brother, I love my family. I will always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been any intention to harm them.
For years, Prince Harry has been a part of some of the biggest royal stories. But there's one part of his life that he kept hidden away, until now. Prince Harry has just shared why he had to keep his sister a secret, and the reason behind it is shocking. What's even more surprising is how this secret was kept for so long, despite all the cameras and attention on his family. People always wondered about Harry's relationship with his family, but no one could have guessed this hidden truth. It's a story that reveals just how complicated life can be inside the royal world, and how sometimes, even the smallest things can become huge secrets. What happened that made Prince Harry feel like he had no choice but to keep his sister out of the public eye? What does this mean for everything we thought we knew about him and the royal family? The answers are finally here, and they could change everything. The secret sister Prince Harry has always been a figure who has caught the attention of the world. From his royal duties to his departure from the royal family, every part of his life seems to make headlines. But recently, a surprising claim has come to light: the revelation of a secret sister. This is not just another royal gossip or media rumor. This is something that has raised eyebrows, with some even questioning why Prince Harry kept this part of his life hidden for so long. The claim about Prince Harry's secret sister became public knowledge in the weeks leading up to the release of Harry's memoir, Spare. As the memoir gave readers an inside look into his life, many were shocked to hear about this hidden family member. The details of her identity were still unclear for some time, with some speculating about who she might be. Was she a child from a past relationship? Was she someone born into the royal family, but kept out of the public eye? The mystery surrounding this sister stirred up media frenzy, leaving many wondering what the real story was. Different media outlets quickly jumped on the story, each offering their take. Some reported that Prince Harry had a sister, born from a different relationship, while others hinted at the possibility of an adopted sibling. However, the name and full background of this sister have yet to be fully revealed. While some royal insiders claim to know more, it remains largely speculative. What we do know is that Harry's sister is a part of his life that he's kept hidden from the public for reasons that seem to go beyond mere privacy. Family dynamics. Where does she fit in the royal family? Now you might wonder, why keep a sister a secret? How does this secret sibling fit into the royal family's complicated structure? In the grand scheme of things, the British royal family is one of the most famous families in the world. Every member of the royal family plays a role, whether it's attending official events, charity work, or even handling their public image. A secret sibling could cause an unexpected ripple in the carefully orchestrated royal family dynamics. Imagine being part of a family where every little detail about your life is scrutinized. Now add to that a sibling who has never been publicly acknowledged. How would this unknown family member fit into the picture? Would they have their own role, or would they complicate things even further? These are the kinds of questions that might have weighed on Harry's mind as he made the decision to keep his sister a secret. One possibility could be that she simply didn't fit into the image the royal family wanted to project. Royals are often expected to have picture-perfect lives, with no room for messy or complicated situations. If this secret sister's background didn't match the royal family's carefully crafted narrative, it could have been easier for Harry to keep her hidden. Why keep her a secret? Royal family secrets and scandals. For centuries, the royal family has been known for keeping secrets. Some of these secrets are small, while others are more explosive. Take Princess Margaret's love life, for example. For years, it was kept a secret that she had a romantic relationship with a man named Peter Townsend, a man who was not acceptable in royal circles due to his divorce. This relationship was kept under wraps, and it caused quite a stir when it was eventually revealed to the public. Another example is King Edward VIII, who abdicated the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. This decision shocked the royal family and the public and led to a significant shift in royal history. These examples show that the royal family has a long history of keeping scandals and personal matters hidden from the world. Prince Harry is no stranger to this either. As someone who has dealt with intense media scrutiny throughout his life, it's possible that he felt it was better to keep his sister hidden from the public. The last thing Harry would want is to add another layer of drama to an already complex family situation. After all, his life has already been filled with media chaos and family tension, so it makes sense that he would want to protect his sister from the same spotlight. Personal reasons for secrecy. But there's more to it than just controlling the media narrative. Prince Harry's own personal motivations could have played a huge role in his decision to keep his sister a secret. Harry has always had a complicated relationship with the royal family, and revealing a secret sibling could have caused even more tension. After all, his relationship with other family members, especially his brother Prince William, has been strained at times. Adding another secret to the mix might have made things more difficult. On top of that, Harry has always had a deep sense of responsibility towards his family. He's been very open about his struggles with mental health, particularly after the death of his mother, Princess Diana. Having a hidden sibling could have added another layer of emotional complexity to an already difficult situation. Perhaps Harry didn't want to burden himself, or his sister, with the emotional weight of revealing a family secret that might not have been well received by the public. Harry's struggles with mental health. It's well known that Prince Harry has struggled with mental health issues over the years. His grief over losing his mother at such a young age has been well documented. It's also clear that the pressure of living in the public eye, especially as a royal, has taken its toll on him. The media has often been unkind, and it's no secret that Harry has had a rocky relationship with the press. The idea of keeping a secret sibling hidden from the world could have been part of his way of coping with this intense pressure. Harry has spoken openly about how his family's expectations and public scrutiny have affected his mental health. In his memoir, Spare, he discusses how he struggled with feelings of inadequacy and how he used various coping mechanisms to deal with the stress. Having a secret sibling, who could potentially be the subject of more media attacks, would only have added to this emotional burden. Impact on family relationships. Keeping a secret like this would have undoubtedly affected Harry's relationships within the royal family. His brother, Prince William, has often been seen as the more traditional, reserved member of the royal family, while Harry has taken a more unconventional route. If the secret sister were to have been revealed, it might have complicated things further, adding yet another layer of complexity to the royal family's already fraught relationships. Harry's relationship with his father, King Charles III, could have also been impacted. The royal family as a whole tends to maintain a strict public image. Any deviation from that image can lead to conflict or tension. Keeping a secret sibling could have been a way for Harry to protect his family, but it could have also made things more difficult on a personal level. Whether or not his family knew about the sister, revealing her to the world would have been a significant move. It's also worth considering how Harry's marriage to Meghan Markle fits into this story. Meghan has been vocal about her desire for privacy and the challenges of living under the public microscope. It's possible that Harry's decision to keep his sister hidden was part of their shared desire for privacy and a life away from the media circus. After all, revealing yet another family secret would only bring more attention to their already high-profile lives. Will the sister ever be revealed? So, what happens next? Will Prince Harry ever fully reveal the truth about his secret sister? Or will she remain a shadow in his life? The mystery surrounding this sibling has sparked countless theories, but the truth may never come to light. Prince Harry has always been careful about what he shares with the public, and it's likely that he will continue to protect his family's privacy in the future. If the sister were to be revealed, it would likely come with significant consequences, both personally and professionally. The media would undoubtedly make her the center of attention, and she could face intense scrutiny. Whether or not Harry chooses to reveal her identity may depend on how much he feels he can protect her from the media's harsh spotlight. Harry's path forward. Looking ahead, Harry seems to be focused on his future. He's dedicated himself to charity work, mental health advocacy, and building a new life outside the royal family. The revelation of a secret sister, while significant, may not be a major part of his future. It's possible that he will continue to keep his family's secrets private as he moves forward with his own path. As Harry continues to step further away from the royal spotlight, the public's perception of him will evolve. Whether or not his secret sister is ever revealed, the growing distance between Harry and the royal family will continue to. shape his narrative. It's clear that Harry is focused on building a life that aligns with his values, and whether or not his sister plays a role in that future remains to be seen. The mystery of Prince Harry's secret sister may remain just that, a mystery. But whatever the truth is, it's likely that Harry will continue to prioritize his family's well-being and privacy over everything else. The truth behind Prince Harry's secret is out, and it's clear that life in the royal family is even more complicated than we ever imagined. But what does this revelation mean for the future of the monarchy? The story doesn't end here. There's still so much to uncover. If you want to stay up to date with more shocking royal revelations, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single update. Thanks for watching.
The People's Princess is dead across the country, across the world.
I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain, and you know that in your life it's going to be very difficult to come across something that's going to be even worse pain than that.
The story of Princess Diana's death is one that touched millions of hearts around the world. Her tragic passing in 1997 left an indelible mark not just on the royal family, but on the public as well. Her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were at the center of this tragedy, and they experienced grief in ways few can truly understand. But for years, Prince William has remained notably silent about his mother's death, choosing not to publicly discuss his feelings or the impact it had on him. This silence has intrigued many people, sparking questions about why he chooses not to openly share his emotions regarding such a pivotal moment in his life. William's grief journey. The death of Princess Diana in 1997 left an indelible mark on the royal family, particularly on her two young sons, William and Harry. At just 15 years old, William found himself in an impossible position. His world had been shattered, yet he was still expected to fulfill his duties as a royal. Grief, for William, couldn't simply be dealt with in private. It had to coexist with the very public role he played as the future king. One of the most striking moments of this struggle came during his mother's funeral. The world watched in shock as William, along with his younger brother Harry, walked behind Diana's coffin during the procession. This was a public display of mourning like no other. For the young princes, it was a deeply emotional moment that required them to put on a brave face and fulfill a royal duty. Imagine the weight on their shoulders, grieving the loss of their mother while knowing millions of people were watching, their every step scrutinized by the press. For William, this wasn't just a royal duty. It was a moment that forced him to balance his personal grief with the expectations placed on him as the future monarch. As he walked behind the coffin, there were mixed emotions: sorrow, anger, and perhaps a deep sense of duty to his mother's memory. While the world mourned Diana, for William, this was a personal, raw experience that few could truly understand. Over the years, William has rarely spoken about his grief in public. However, when he has shared his feelings, it's been an emotional experience for both him and his audience. In a 2017 BBC documentary marking 20 years since his mother's death, William opened up about the confusion and pain he felt during those early days of grief. He described how, at the time, he couldn't fully process what had happened. Like many who experience sudden loss, William was left questioning why this had to happen to him and his family. "I remember just feeling completely numb, disorientated, dizzy," William said in the documentary. For a young boy of 15, the loss of his mother in such a violent and sudden manner was almost too much to comprehend. The emotional confusion he felt then was something that stayed with him for years as he struggled to make sense of the pain. It was clear that, for William, the grief wasn't something that could easily be explained or understood in words. It was a process, one that would take years to unravel. This deep emotional conflict continued for years as William tried to navigate life as both a grieving son and a future king. In interviews, he has often mentioned how difficult it was to reconcile the private side of his emotions with the public role he was expected to play. There's a powerful contrast in these reflections. On one hand, he was a young man mourning the loss of his mother, and on the other, he was part of the royal family, expected to uphold the dignity and traditions of his position. The tension between these two sides of his life was undoubtedly overwhelming at times. Despite the public nature of his life, Prince William has always emphasized the importance of privacy in his grief journey. In fact, he has often spoken about how critical it was for him to have space away from the media and public attention during those early days after Diana's death. Obviously, back then, we didn't have smartphones or constant media coverage. We were fortunate to have the privacy to mourn, to collect our thoughts, and to have that space away from everybody, William said in the 2017 BBC documentary. This privacy, granted by the royal family, was a rare gift. It allowed William to process his emotions without the added pressure of being in the public eye. In many ways, it gave him the chance to just be a boy who had lost his mother, rather than a royal figure who was expected to be strong for the public. This sanctuary was invaluable as he navigated the complexities of grief, away from the constant scrutiny of the media and the royal duties that often left him little time for himself. William has mentioned that the role of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, in helping shield him from the overwhelming media coverage during this time was crucial. In one interview, he recalled how his grandmother made an effort to protect him and Harry from seeing the intense media frenzy surrounding their mother's death. It was a tough decision for the Queen, balancing her responsibilities as monarch with her love and care for her grandchildren, but it was one that gave William and Harry a chance to mourn privately. Another aspect of William's grief journey that he shared with the public is how he found solace in nature, especially in the Scottish outdoors. After hearing the devastating news of his mother's passing, William was at Balmoral Castle, the royal family's residence in Scotland. In a speech many years later, William spoke about how the Scottish countryside offered him a sense of peace and refuge during those dark days. The service at Crathie Kirk that very morning, and in the dark days that followed, I found comfort and solace in the Scottish outdoors, William reflected. The beauty of the Scottish landscape provided him with an emotional escape, a place where he could process his feelings in peace, away from the chaos of royal duties and the media frenzy. For William, the hills and forests of Scotland became more than just a backdrop for his grief. They became a sanctuary, a place where he could feel a little closer to his mother and a little further from the overwhelming sadness that clouded his life at the time. This connection to Scotland remains significant for William even today. As an adult, he continues to speak fondly of the country, acknowledging that it holds both some of his happiest memories and some of his saddest. It was in Scotland that he first met his wife, Kate Middleton, and it remains a place where he and his family retreat for both joy and reflection. But the bond that William feels to Scotland, especially in the wake of his mother's death, is undeniable. The outdoor spaces offered him a break from the demands of royal life and gave him a safe place to process his grief. Changing narrative. Over time. For most of Prince William's life, the public rarely heard him speak about the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana. His reluctance to address such a personal and painful loss became one of the mysteries of his royal life. Why did the heir to the British throne, often seen as open and approachable, choose to stay quiet about the death of the woman who had shaped much of his early years? For years, this silence sparked much speculation and curiosity among royal watchers and the general public. What was really going on behind closed doors? In the years following Diana's tragic passing in 1997, William, then just 15 years old, seemed to bury his emotions. Like many people who experience such an overwhelming loss at a young age, he was left to grapple with grief in a deeply private way. The media, in particular, was eager for any hint of what the prince might say about his mother's death. But William, who was just stepping into the role of a young royal, had other priorities. His focus, understandably, was on dealing with his grief in private. In the early years, his silence could have been attributed to a combination of personal choice and the nature of the royal family's approach to public life. The royal family, historically, has not been known for openly discussing personal emotions or grief. The Windsors, often seen as the epitome of stoicism, maintained a strong sense of duty, which meant that personal suffering was rarely displayed for public consumption. For William, this cultural expectation likely added to the weight of his grief. How could he speak openly about his mother when there were so many royal duties to attend to, and so many eyes watching him? However, as time passed, something began to shift. It's important to understand that Prince William, like many others who experience intense grief, likely found that bottling up emotions and avoiding the topic of his mother's death was not sustainable in the long term. And while he may not have been ready to open up immediately after Diana's death, it was clear that the pain of losing her would not simply fade away. It wasn't until much later that William began to speak more openly about his loss, showing a vulnerability that, in many ways, marked a significant departure from the usual royal behavior. It's important to highlight how, over time, William began to understand that sharing his grief wasn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. Slowly, but surely, he began to break his silence in public forums, making it clear that the boy who once kept his emotions hidden was now ready to talk about the pain he had carried for so many years. One of the most notable moments of this shift came when William joined his brother Harry in 2017 for a BBC documentary called Diana, 7 Days. This was a landmark moment because, for the first time, the two brothers were able to speak openly about their mother's death and the grief they had experienced in the years since. In the documentary, William admitted that he still struggled with the pain of her loss, revealing that even as an adult, the emotional scars remained. He also acknowledged how his mother's death had affected him in more profound ways than he had been able to express before. This was not the typical stoic royal response we were accustomed to seeing. It was raw, honest, and incredibly moving. But perhaps the most significant change in William's approach to discussing his grief came through his active involvement in mental health advocacy. In 2016, Prince William, along with his wife, Kate Middleton, and his brother Harry, launched the Heads Together campaign, a groundbreaking initiative aimed at promoting mental health awareness and encouraging open conversations about mental well-being. The campaign's core message was clear. It's okay to talk about your feelings, especially when you're going through tough times. For William, Heads Together represented more than just a charitable cause. It became an outlet for him to channel his own experiences of loss, grief, and mental health challenges into something positive. His decision to speak out about his own struggles, particularly his battle with grief after losing Diana, served as an inspiration to many. It also sent a powerful message to others who were silently suffering from their own mental health challenges. If the Duke of Cambridge, a member of the royal family, could talk about his emotions, then surely others could too. Through the Heads Together campaign, William made it clear that mental health was not a subject to be avoided or swept under the rug. He spoke about the importance of mental health care, particularly for men, who often feel societal pressure to hide their emotions and act tough. As part of the campaign, William, Harry, and Kate engaged in open discussions with mental health professionals and those who had personally experienced mental health challenges, offering both a platform for discussion and a sense of solidarity. William's personal involvement in Heads Together has undoubtedly helped shift the narrative around mental health within the royal family and beyond. He shared his experiences with the public, including how he had struggled with his emotions in the aftermath of Diana's death. He admitted that, for many years, he didn't allow himself to process his feelings properly. This, he explained, led to long periods of stress and anxiety, which is not uncommon for those who experience a deep and unresolved loss. In the years since, William has continued to be a vocal advocate for mental health, speaking candidly about the importance of dealing with grief in a healthy and constructive way. His openness about his own struggles has been a powerful example for others, especially for men who may feel societal pressure not to express vulnerability. By sharing his own grief journey, William has helped make the topic of mental health more approachable and less stigmatized, and in doing so, he has set an example for countless individuals who are navigating their own emotional challenges. William's evolving narrative, from silence to openness, has shown the world that it is okay to face difficult emotions and share them with others. He has gradually broken down the barriers that once kept him silent about his mother's death, showing that even someone in his position is not immune to the complexities of grief and loss. It is a journey that many can relate to, whether they are public figures or private individuals. William's decision to share his grief publicly is a reflection of the changing attitudes toward mental health and emotional well-being in society. What once was considered a private matter is now being discussed openly, thanks in no small part to William's efforts to break the stigma surrounding mental health. By opening up about his own experience, William has not only honored the memory of his mother, Princess Diana, but he has also given others the courage to confront their own emotional pain and find healing in the process. As we look to the future, William's ongoing work in mental health advocacy will undoubtedly continue to inspire others to share their stories and seek help when needed. Through his example, he has shown that while grief is a deeply personal journey, it's also a shared experience that connects us all. And in that shared experience, there is hope, healing, and strength. Insights into William's silence. Prince William's silence on the death of his mother, Princess Diana, has long been a subject of intrigue and speculation. While it's easy to assume that his quietness stems from simply being a private person, the reality is much deeper. There are multiple reasons behind why William has chosen not to openly discuss such a tragic event in his life. His silence isn't just about keeping personal emotions hidden. It's also about a mix of personal emotional considerations, strategic image management, and a deep respect for how grief affects individuals in unique ways. First and foremost, Prince William's decision to maintain privacy can be traced back to personal emotional reasons. The death of a parent, especially at a young age, is an overwhelming experience. William was just 15 when his mother passed away, and the emotional toll it took on him was immense. It's entirely understandable that, after such a traumatic event, he would feel the need to guard his emotions and avoid exposing them publicly. Grief, particularly when it involves the loss of someone as beloved as Princess Diana, is something that can't easily be shared in the public eye, especially when it's accompanied by the scrutiny and pressure that comes with being a member of the royal family. As William himself has expressed in various interviews, the initial shock left him feeling confused and disoriented, not knowing how to process such deep sorrow. For many people in similar situations, it's a natural instinct to retreat into privacy during such an emotionally charged time, and William's decision to do so was likely driven by the need to protect his emotional well-being. At the same time, Prince William's silence can also be seen as part of the royal family's strategy when it comes to managing their public image. The royal family has always been under intense public scrutiny, and their personal lives are often viewed through the lens of duty and tradition. By remaining somewhat private about his grief, William was, perhaps unconsciously, aligning with the royal tradition of keeping personal matters out of the public spotlight. Royals have long been expected to maintain a composed and controlled image, even in the face of tragedy. In the case of Diana's death, while the public mourned with the family, there was also an expectation that William, as the future king, would remain strong and dutiful. Public displays of grief were complicated by his royal status, and the family often finds itself in the delicate balance between showing emotion and fulfilling their royal roles. This sense of duty likely influenced William's decision to stay silent, at least publicly, as he navigated the immense personal loss while fulfilling his responsibilities. However, there is another layer to his silence: respect for the grieving process. Grief is not a one-size-fits-all experience. It affects people in different ways, and no two people cope with loss the same way. For Prince William, grieving his mother was undoubtedly a personal and private journey. He has been open about how difficult it was to find comfort in such a painful time, but he also emphasized how important it was for him to deal with his emotions on his own terms. This respect for personal grief is something that many can relate to, regardless of their status. People who go through profound loss often find solace in solitude or in other ways that may not be visible to the public eye. William's choice to not discuss his mother's passing immediately, or to do so selectively, highlights the understanding that grieving is something deeply personal. It's not something that can always be shared, especially when the world is watching. William's approach to grief, especially over the years, has been more about quietly honoring his mother's memory and legacy, rather than dwelling on the pain. He has started to speak about her death more openly in recent years, especially through his work with mental health initiatives like Heads Together. This shift has allowed him to frame his grief in a way that could help others who are struggling with loss, making it a way to connect rather than to publicly mourn. In doing so, he has gradually opened up about his emotions, but in a way that feels right for him, slowly and on his own terms. This speaks to a larger point about the royal family's evolving attitude toward mental health and emotions, with William becoming more of an advocate for others who may be grieving in silence, just as he did. The bottom line is that Prince William's silence about his mother's death should not be seen as indifference or avoidance. Instead, it reflects a complex mix of emotional protection, royal duty, and respect for the unique ways people grieve. It's a reminder that grief is not something that can always be shared in a public space. It's deeply personal and varies greatly from person to person. As time has passed, William and Harry would continue to carry the weight of their mother's death with them. For William, his grief was something he buried deep within himself for a long time. As a teenager, he felt the pressure to be strong and composed, both for his family and for the public. His duty as a future king meant that he couldn't afford to let his emotions take over. It was only much later, as an adult, that he began to open up more about his grief and the impact it had on him. The royal family's response to Diana's death was shaped by a complex mixture of personal grief and public duty. While the Queen's efforts to protect William and Harry were crucial during the early days, it was clear that there was no easy way for the young princes to process such a monumental loss. The experience of grief, especially for someone as young as William, is never linear. It is a journey that is personal, sometimes private, and often difficult to navigate. And for William, as he later acknowledged, it would be a long time before he could fully process the depth of his loss and what it meant for his life moving forward. Now, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Prince William's silence was the best way to cope with his grief? Or do you believe he should have spoken more openly about it? Drop a comment below to share your perspective. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might find this story just as captivating. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more royal insights.
I think royal duty is extremely important. I think it's part of the fabric of what the royal family and any future monarch has, and it's something that is very important, and I take duty very seriously.
For years, the public has known Prince William as the responsible royal, the steady future king who follows protocol and maintains the dignity of the monarchy. In contrast to his younger brother Harry, who's made headlines with explosive interviews, a tell-all memoir, and his dramatic exit from royal duties, William has been the model heir, reliable, controlled, and scandal-free. But recent events have shattered that carefully crafted image, showing that perhaps the two brothers aren't so different after all. What DNA revelation has caused the future king to follow in his brother's controversial footsteps? The fallout has left the monarchy reeling in ways no one could have predicted. The scandal breaks. It began with what should have been a private medical procedure. In early 2025, Prince William agreed to participate in a research study at King's College London, examining genetic markers for male pattern baldness, a subject he'd often joked about publicly. The standard procedure required a simple DNA sample, which William provided without hesitation, signing routine confidentiality agreements. 3 weeks later, William's world imploded. Somehow, portions of his genetic profile were leaked to the British tabloid The Sun, which published a sensational front-page story, claiming the test had revealed stunning information about the future king's heritage that raises questions about the Windsor bloodline. While the initial report was frustratingly vague, it was enough to set off a firestorm of speculation. Palace officials immediately denied any impropriety, condemning the egregious breach of medical ethics and threatening legal action against both the newspaper and the research facility. But the damage was done. Within hours, the hashtag #Royal DNASCANDAL was trending worldwide, with rumors ranging from the plausible to the absurd. What happened next stunned even veteran royal watchers. Rather than maintain dignified silence as royal protocol dictated, William took to social media with a hastily recorded video that showed him visibly agitated, his typically polished appearance disheveled. "For years I've watched my brother be torn apart for speaking his truth," William said, his voice uncharacteristically strained. "I criticized him, both publicly and privately. I thought maintaining the institution was more important than anything else, but now that I'm the target of these violations and lies, I understand what drove him to break free. The video, clearly made without palace approval, was deleted within 30 minutes, but not before it had been viewed millions of times and captured by countless users who continued to circulate it. The composed, controlled Prince William, the world thought they knew, had vanished, replaced by a man on the verge of a very public breakdown. The Harry parallel. What made William's situation particularly remarkable was how closely it mirrored his brother's path. Like Harry, he was now facing intense media scrutiny about his private life. Like Harry, he was chafing against palace restrictions on how to respond. And like Harry, he was beginning to publicly question the system he'd been raised to uphold. Royal insiders reported that King Charles was deeply concerned about his elder son's behavior, particularly given how critical William had been when Harry followed a similar path. One former palace aide told The Times, "William was absolutely furious with Harry for going public with family matters. He considered it the ultimate betrayal of royal principles. Now he's doing exactly the same thing, which suggests whatever was revealed in that DNA test has truly shaken him to his core." Princess Catherine was notably absent during the initial days of the scandal, reportedly taking their 3 children to her parents' home in Bucklebury to shield them from the media frenzy. Her silence spoke volumes, as the normally supportive royal wife made no public show of standing by her husband. Most ironically, the only family member to publicly support William was Harry himself, who issued a brief statement from California. "No one understands better than I do the pressure of having your private life exploited for public consumption. Despite our differences, I stand with my brother and respect his right to respond to these intrusions as he sees fit." The DNA revelation. As William's public behavior grew increasingly erratic, skipping a scheduled appearance at a military ceremony, being photographed arguing with aides outside Kensington Palace, and reportedly refusing calls from his father. More details about the DNA findings emerged from multiple sources. The test had allegedly revealed that William carried genetic markers inconsistent with the known Windsor profile. Specifically, the analysis showed heritage that raised questions about the official narrative of his royal lineage. While the tabloids gleefully speculated about potential infidelity in Charles and Diana's marriage, genetics experts noted that such testing frequently reveals unexpected ancestry several generations back. What seemed to trigger William's most extreme reaction, however, wasn't just the content of the revelations, but the palace's response to them. According to sources close to the prince, senior royal advisors had prepared a strategy of blanket denials, controlled leaks to friendly media outlets, and a campaign to discredit the research facility, all without addressing the substance of the findings. It was exactly the same playbook they used against Harry and Meghan, one source told The Guardian. William suddenly found himself on the receiving end of the institution's protection machinery, and he didn't like what he saw. It was as if a veil had been lifted. The family division deepens. The aftermath of William's interview created the greatest crisis for the monarchy since Harry and Meghan's departure. King Charles, reportedly devastated by his son's public comments, retreated to Balmoral Castle in Scotland, cancelling several planned engagements. Palace sources described the king as being caught between his role as monarch and his love for his son, an echo of Queen Elizabeth's dilemma during Harry's exit. The royal family split into factions. Princess Anne and Prince Edward publicly supported the traditional palace approach of dignity and discretion, with Anne telling reporters, "Some conversations belong behind closed doors, regardless of circumstance." In contrast, several of the younger royals, including Princess Eugenie and Zara Tindall, were rumored to have privately expressed support for William's newfound outspokenness. Most notably, Harry reached out directly to his brother, with sources claiming the two spoke by video call for over 2 hours, their longest conversation in years. According to those familiar with the call, Harry offered advice on handling media pressure outside the palace system, and shared his own experiences with prioritizing personal truth over institutional expectations. Catherine finally returned to London a week after the interview, but observers noted a distinct coolness between the couple during their first public appearance together. Body language experts pointed to their physical distance, minimal eye contact, and Catherine's strained smile as evidence of serious marital tension resulting from William's unilateral decisions. The royal rebel. As days turned into weeks, William showed no signs of backing down or conforming to palace expectations. Instead, he seemed to be taking pages directly from Harry's playbook, embracing a new role as royal rebel with increasing confidence. He launched his own social media accounts independent of Kensington Palace's official channels, giving him direct access to the public without institutional filtering. His first post, "Time for some overdue truth-telling," gained over 1 million followers within hours. In a move that particularly alarmed traditional royalists, William began selectively engaging with comments about the monarchy's colonial past, acknowledging historical wrongs, and suggesting that full accountability was necessary for the institution to evolve. These comments echoed positions Harry and Meghan had taken years earlier, positions that had been privately dismissed by William at the time. Most shocking was William's announced partnership with Netflix for a documentary series examining the relationship between the British monarchy and the media, a project with uncomfortable parallels to Harry and Meghan's much-criticized Netflix deal. The working title, "Behind the Palace Walls," suggested a level of institutional critique that would have been unimaginable from William just months earlier. "It's as if he's deliberately retracing Harry's steps," one royal historian noted. "The same boundary breaking, the same media partnerships, the same willingness to question the monarchy publicly. The only difference is that William can't be exiled from the succession as easily as the spare." The Family Summit. With the monarchy facing its greatest crisis in generations, King Charles finally took decisive action. He summoned both William and Harry, the latter reluctantly agreeing to return to the UK for the first time in years, to a private family summit at Sandringham, reminiscent of the 2020 meeting that had formalized Harry's departure from royal duties. Unlike that earlier meeting, this summit included no courtiers, advisors, or other family members, just Charles and his 2 sons behind closed doors for nearly 6 hours. When they emerged, all 3 looked emotionally drained but, according to staff, somewhat reconciled. No formal statement followed the meeting, but dramatic changes soon became apparent. William returned to royal duties, though with a noticeably different approach, more outspoken, less bound by convention, and more willing to acknowledge problems within the institution. His Netflix project was reconfigured as a documentary about modernizing the monarchy, with the king's grudging approval. Most significantly, Harry announced plans for his first extended return to the UK since his departure, with a carefully negotiated agreement for limited royal duties focusing on charitable work. Sources close to both brothers suggested that William had insisted on Harry's partial return as a condition of his own continued cooperation with royal expectations. The new normal today, months after the DNA scandal that triggered this extraordinary chain of events, the British monarchy operates in a changed landscape. William has neither fully returned to his former compliant role, nor completely broken free in the manner of his brother. Instead, he has carved out a new position as an internal reformer, still committed to the monarchy's future, but determined to modernize it on his own terms. The palace has never officially acknowledged the specific DNA findings that sparked William's transformation. Most royal experts now believe the test revealed something about William's ancestry that contradicted official Windsor history. Not recent enough to affect his claim to the throne, but significant enough to make him question the institution's relationship with truth. William's relationship with Harry remains complex, but has undeniably improved. The brothers are not the inseparable team they once were, but they now speak regularly and have made several joint appearances focusing on their mother's charitable legacy. Observers note that William has adopted several of Harry's perspectives about royal duty and institutional reform, while Harry has shown new respect for William's commitment to preserving a modernized monarchy. The DNA test may have revealed unexpected information about William's genetic heritage, one royal commentator observed. But the real revelation was how quickly the perfect prince could transform into a royal rebel when the institution turned its machinery against him. In finding himself suddenly in Harry's shoes, William found a new understanding of his brother.
It was about 3 weeks ago on a holiday in Kenya. We had a little private time away together.
Kate Middleton has always been seen as graceful, kind, and the perfect future queen. But behind palace doors, something shocking is happening. She is leaving behind a fortune so huge that it has sent waves of panic through the royal family. Money, power, and secrets. This isn't just about wealth. It's about control. And now, as whispers spread through Buckingham Palace, one thing is certain. This changes everything. Why would Kate give up something so massive? And how will the royal family react to a loss this big? The answers will leave them, and the world, in absolute shock. Her personal wealth before marriage. Before Kate Middleton became the Duchess of Cambridge and a future queen, she was already living a very privileged life. Unlike many commoners who marry into royalty, Kate wasn't struggling financially. She wasn't plucked from an ordinary background. She came from a family that was already well off. Her parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, weren't born into riches, but they were smart and ambitious. They built their wealth through their business, Party Pieces, a company that sold party decorations, banners, and supplies for celebrations. What started as a small home business in 1987 soon became a multi-million-dollar empire. Kate and her siblings, Pippa and James Middleton, grew up in Bucklebury, Berkshire, an area known for its affluent residents. Their childhood home was a beautiful house worth millions, and they had access to everything a wealthy child could ask for: private schooling, exotic vacations, and the best lifestyle money could buy. Kate was sent to Marlborough College, an elite boarding school, where tuition alone cost tens of thousands of dollars per year. But her parents didn't hesitate to invest in her education. Then, she attended St. Andrews University in Scotland, where she famously met Prince William. But here's an interesting fact. Her parents paid full tuition for her university, which was very expensive. This wasn't something most British students could afford without student loans. So, how rich was Kate before she married into royalty? According to financial experts, her estimated personal wealth before marriage was between $7 to $10 million. This wasn't just from her family's business. Her parents had also set up trust funds and investments for their children. By the time she became engaged to Prince William, Kate was already a wealthy woman in her own right. But here's the real question. Did she become richer after marrying Prince William? A lot of people think that marrying into royalty means instant access to unlimited wealth. But the reality is a bit different. While Kate's financial situation definitely improved after joining the royal family, the way royal wealth works is more complicated than people realize. Royal allowances and privileges. Unlike Hollywood celebrities or business moguls, royals don't get direct paychecks or bank transfers. They don't work in the traditional sense, so they don't earn salaries. Instead, they benefit from the vast royal fortune in different ways. One of the biggest sources of royal money is the Duchy of Cornwall, a massive estate worth over $1 billion. This estate generates income, and a large portion of it goes to Prince William and his family. This means that Kate's lifestyle, her clothes, travel, and household expenses are covered by this fund. But there's another source of royal wealth: the sovereign grant. This is public money given to the royal family every year. It helps cover things like official events, security, and palace maintenance. Kate doesn't get a personal share of this money, but since she plays a major role in the royal family, a part of it is used to support her royal duties. Now, let's talk about something even bigger. The Crown Estate. This is a collection of land, properties, and investments worth over $19 billion. The royal family doesn't personally own this wealth, but they benefit from it. As the future queen consort, Kate enjoys these luxuries without ever having to pay for them. So, does this mean Kate got richer? Yes, but not in the way most people think. She doesn't own billions, but she has access to one of the largest royal fortunes in the world: investments and personal assets. Kate Middleton may be a royal, but she's not just sitting back and depending on the royal family's money. She has her own financial strategies, and many of them remain private and undisclosed. One of the biggest secrets about Kate's wealth is her family's real estate investments. Over the years, the Middletons have purchased multiple luxury properties in the UK and abroad. These properties are worth millions, and even though they are technically owned by her parents, Kate benefits from them. Kate and William also have personal investments, but the details are not made public. Financial experts believe they own stocks, funds, and assets that help grow their wealth in private. Since they have access to some of the best financial advisors in the world, their fortune is likely expanding quietly behind the scenes. Another thing that adds to Kate's net worth? Luxury gifts. Gifts and inheritances. If there's one thing Kate Middleton never has to worry about, it's having enough jewelry, designer clothes, and priceless heirlooms. Since becoming a royal, she has received some of the most extravagant gifts imaginable. Let's talk about her most famous piece of jewelry, Princess Diana's sapphire engagement ring. This stunning blue sapphire ring, surrounded by 14 diamonds, is valued at over $500,000. But because of its royal history and sentimental value, many believe it's actually priceless. Aside from that, Prince William has gifted her several luxury pieces over the years, including a Cartier watch worth thousands, a diamond eternity ring, and priceless heirloom jewelry from the royal collection. But it's not just jewelry. Kate also wears designer outfits that cost thousands. While she's known for her elegant and classy fashion, many of her outfits are either gifted by designers or covered by royal funds. She's often seen in Alexander McQueen, Jenny Packham, and Catherine Walker, some of the most expensive fashion brands in the world. Future inheritances. Now, let's talk about inheritance, one of the biggest ways Kate's wealth will grow over time. Kate's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, are still very wealthy. When the time comes, their fortune will likely be divided among their children, and Kate could inherit a significant portion of it. Then, there's Prince William's personal wealth. Before his marriage, he inherited around $10 million from Princess Diana's estate. He also has assets from the Queen Mother's Trust Fund, and when he becomes king, he will inherit even more royal assets. If something were to happen to William, Kate would receive a major financial settlement, just like Princess Diana did after her divorce from Prince Charles. So when people ask, is Kate Middleton rich? The answer is an absolute yes. She was wealthy before marrying Prince William. She gained access to hundreds of millions of dollars in royal wealth, and she continues to secure her financial future in ways most people will never fully know. Her fortune might not be direct cash in the bank, but it's a level of wealth and privilege that very few people on this planet will ever experience. And if anything ever changes, whether it's an inheritance, new investments, or even a royal exit, Kate Middleton could one day leave behind a fortune that would truly shake the royal family to its core. How the royal family's wealth works. Money in the royal family, now that's a topic that never gets old. People often assume that the Queen, the King, or even Kate Middleton can just open a vault and swim in gold coins like Scrooge McDuck. But the reality? It's way more complicated. The royal family has different types of money. Some of it belongs to them personally, and some of it technically belongs to the country. So, how does it all work? The Crown Estate. Okay, here's a question. Who owns Buckingham Palace? The King? The government? Some mysterious billionaire hiding in the shadows? Actually, none of the above. It belongs to something called the Crown Estate. Now, the Crown Estate is this massive collection of land, buildings, and businesses. It includes huge parts of London, shopping districts, parks, even the seabed around the UK. Yes, the royal family is technically in charge of it, but they don't actually own it like a regular person owns a house. Think of it like this. Imagine you run a business, but you're not allowed to take money from it whenever you want. Instead, all the profits go straight to the government, and then the government decides how much of it you get back. That's exactly how the Crown Estate works for the royal family. It makes billions of pounds, but the family doesn't get to keep it. Instead, they get a small percentage of that money to cover their expenses.